justice, temperance, wisdom, courage. Applying ancient philosophy to modern times, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Well over 1,000 years ago, Emperor Justinian shut down the last Stoic school. While the works of the ancient Stoics have been read since then, recently the philosophy has been resurrected and is being updated with modern science and philosophy and psychology. One of the modern authors and thinkers on the subject is Dr. Massimo Pigliucci. His book and website, How to Be Stoic, is full of useful information for those wishing to practice the philosophy. And on his website, I will post a link to the show notes, is a pledge, a 13-point pledge for the modern Stoic. It's called the Prokopton Pledge. Prokopton is a student of Stoicism. So it's called the Prokopton Pledge, and it says, as a Prokopton, I pledge to follow these precepts and rules of conduct. So I wanted to go through the 13 precepts and rules and then get your feedback as to what you think about them. You can email me at sundaystoic, so sundaystoic@gmail.com. The pledge you can download as a PDF. I'll put a link in the notes of the show. And each one is backed up with quotes from the ancient Stoics. I will read some of the quotes, but not all of them. You can check out the entire pledge on the website. Number 1. The most important thing in my life is the practice of virtue in order to live in accordance with nature. Then there's a quote from Seneca on the happy life. Pleasure is not the reward or the cause of virtue, but comes in addition to it. Nor do we choose virtue because she gives us pleasure, but she gives us pleasure also if we choose her. So that separates out Stoicism from the followers of Epicurus, who put pleasure as the primary good in life. Stoics say virtue is the primary good, living a virtuous life. Number 2, I will not be discouraged by setbacks in my practice. I will get up in the morning and try again. Okay, so if this was not part of the way I practice Stoicism, I would have given up a long time ago. You set goals and then you fall flat on your face. You do unstoic things. You say rude things. You're mean to your neighbor or whatever it may be. You fail again and again and again. Now what we're trying to do is make those failures get further and further apart. And so get up and try again if you hit a hardship. Number 3, I will do my best to behave ethically, regardless of the popularity of my opinions and actions. And the quote from Seneca on the happy life here, I will do nothing because of public opinion, but everything because of conscience. This is one of those that involves the Stoic virtue of courage. You will do what you feel is right, not what you feel is popular. Number 4, I will be concerned for the welfare of all humanity, regardless of people's gender, ethnicity, religion, or political persuasion. And that ties into number 5. I will reject nationalism and any other kind of parochial view of humanity. My creed is that of cosmopolitanism. So we must see that we are all evolutionarily related. We are all the same species. And in the sense of Stoic cosmopolitanism, we are citizens of the world. The edges of our country are the edges of the sunlight from the sun. So that's the entire earth, and that's how the Stoics would view it. We need to keep in mind that everyone is our neighbor. Number 6, I will refrain to the best of my abilities from judging people's actions, especially without forming a good opinion as to their motivations. So we don't always know the motivations of others. We shouldn't get too judgmental about their actions. Remember, Stoics would not think that anyone would ever do evil on purpose, but because their own notions of what is good and wrong is ill-informed. Therefore, they deserve our sympathy, not our anger. Number 7. I will cultivate true friendships because they are important for a eudaimonic life. So that means I need to culture friendships because to live a good, fulfilling, happy and full life, I need friendships. Human nature, following nature as a human being means having friends. Being a lone hermit means an early death and living an unhappy life. That's not how we have evolved. We are social beings. Number 8, I will treat everyone kindly and with respect. I think that kind of goes along with some of the previous ones. If we are all related, we are all part of the same country, we also need to practice justice by being kind and respectful to those around us, even if they get on our nerves. And I find this one difficult from time to time. When someone comes by with you're tired, they come by wanting you to do something for them, or whatever it may be, and you find it very hard to find the energy, not just to say, go away. But I struggle with that one, but I do my best to live up to it. Number 9. I will do my best to contribute to discourse about important matters, while at the same time avoiding to lecture people or becoming overbearing. You don't want to, sit next to someone on an airplane and say, have you heard about my friend Seneca? Let me tell you about my friend Seneca. Here, read this book about Seneca. Seneca's a very important person. You need to get to know Seneca. You don't want to be that person. Let people see your actions and deeds and have them ask you why it is things don't rattle you, how it is you're always content and happy. And then tell them, well, part of it is my practice of Stoicism. But don't go around preaching it and shouting it out on the streets. That will just push people away. Number 10. This is one that I will struggle with. I will follow a simple, largely vegetarian diet because it is healthy and thus helps the practice of virtue. It has a lower impact on the environment and it reduces needless pain and suffering in the world. So as a Stoic, our practice of virtue isn't just theoretical. It applies to everything, including the grocery store. I personally grew up on a farm, where we raised cattle and things, and I have a freezer full of beef that my brother raised, and I happen to think that those cattle had a pretty good life for a cow. However, I do think about it when I buy chicken at the grocery store, because chickens are often raised in big, crowded pens, and maybe that's not how we want to ethically raise animals. And there is a quote here that I thought I'd read from Musonius Rufus from Lecture 18a. Just as one should choose inexpensive food over expensive food, and food that is easy to obtain over food that is hard to obtain, one should choose food suitable for a human being over food that isn't. And what is suitable for us is food from things which the earth produces. The various grains and other plants can nourish a human being quite well. Also nourishing is food from domestic animals which we don't slaughter. So Musonius is advocating a vegetarian diet that includes eggs and milk. But I'm not there yet, and I don't know if I'll ever quite be there. But I think we did evolve to eat meat, and I'm going to include that in my diet. But I think ethically, meat that you can live with is what I would suggest you consider. Maybe that's wild game to you. Maybe that is organically, not just organically raised, but free range organisms. That is up to you as an individual to decide, not for some king of Stoicism to tell you what to do. Number 11. I will cultivate an attitude of indifference towards material possessions. Quote from Seneca here, whatever I may possess, I will neither hoard it greedily nor squander it recklessly. And that's from The Happy Life by Seneca. I have a hard time acquiring too much junk. I have a lot of crap, a lot of tools, a lot of guitars, a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to work on that myself. If anyone has suggestions, share them with the show. Number 12, I will adopt a reasonably minimalist lifestyle. Once again, we're not trying to obtain all of the things. We don't need to own everything. We need to own what we need, and maybe we have a few things that are fun, but we don't need to fill our houses with crap at the expense of virtue. Number 13, the last one. I will remind myself that just as we ought to endure the blows that fortune delivers, so we ought to enjoy the gifts she bestows. As we heard in an episode, I think the last episode that we did, when Epictetus says when you're in life, you should behave as at a banquet. Don't, go chasing after the food that's being passed around. Wait till it comes to you. Maybe it won't come to you. That's okay. Maybe it will come to you. If it does, enjoy it. But we don't want to hang our happiness on whether this goddess Fortuna delivers things to us or takes things away from us. Our happiness needs to be independent of fortune. And I'm going to do a show talking about fortune here in the very near future. I've been intrigued by Seneca's writing about fortune, or the goddess Fortuna, which was this Roman goddess that was kind of like Lady Luck, I think, is basically what this was. Is she giveth and she taketh away, but it's kind of random. And so you don't want your happiness to depend on that. So that is the Prokopton Pledge. What do you think about it? Do you agree with it? Do you think things should be added or taken away? Let me know. SundayStoic@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Check us out on Facebook. You can like the show there. Like us on iTunes. Check us out on iHeartRadio. We're all over the web. All right. Thanks a lot for listening, and Carpe Diem.